In the late 1990s, opening your web browser usually meant one thing: Yahoo. It wasn't just another website. It was where millions of people began their journey across the internet. Years later, people would blame Yahoo's fall on missed opportunities. Google, Facebook, Microsoft. Those stories became famous. But they don't explain why Yahoo really lost. Because Yahoo didn't lose the internet in a single moment. It slowly lost sight of what made it great in the first place. But to understand how Yahoo lost the internet, we first have to understand why people needed Yahoo in the first place. In the early 1990s, the internet was still a very different place. There were websites, online communities, and information scattered across a growing network of computers. But there was one major problem. Finding any of it was difficult. There was no Google, no Facebook, no algorithm deciding what you should see next. The internet was growing rapidly, but there was no simple way for ordinary people to navigate it. And that was the opportunity. In 1994, two Stanford engineering students, Jerry Yang and David Fila, began keeping track of websites they found online. What started as a simple list quickly became something much bigger. They organized websites into categories, then subcategories, creating a growing directory of the World Wide Web. They called it Jerry and David's Guide to the World Wide Web. The name wasn't exactly built for a global technology company, so they eventually changed it. Yahoo. What made Yahoo powerful wasn't revolutionary hardware. It was organization. Yahoo didn't create the internet. It made the internet easier to navigate. And that simple idea turned out to be enormously valuable. As more people discovered Yahoo, more websites wanted to be listed there. And as more websites appeared, more people needed Yahoo to find them. More users brought more websites. More websites brought more users. And suddenly, Yahoo wasn't just a directory anymore. It was becoming the front door to the internet. What started as a simple list of websites was about to become something much bigger. As the internet grew, Yahoo grew with it. The company wasn't trying to build just another website. It was building a place where people could do almost everything online. Search, email, news, finance, sports, shopping, and eventually, even instant messaging. Yahoo wanted to become the starting point for the entire internet. And for a while, it worked. By the late 1990s, Yahoo had become one of the most recognizable brands on the web. Millions of people were visiting the site every day. Advertisers were pouring money into the platform, and investors were beginning to realize something important. The internet wasn't just a technology. It could be an enormous business. In 1996, Yahoo went public, and the market's reaction was extraordinary. The company that had started as a student project was suddenly worth hundreds of millions of dollars. But that was only the beginning. By the end of the decade, the internet was entering a frenzy. Investors wanted the next big online company. Entrepreneurs wanted to build it. And Yahoo was already sitting at the center of the explosion. Its audience was growing. Its advertising business was growing. And its brand was becoming almost impossible to ignore. Yahoo wasn't following the internet anymore. It was helping define what the internet was becoming. At the height of the dot-com boom, Yahoo's market value soared into the tens of billions of dollars. It had millions of users, one of the biggest audiences on the internet. And suddenly, Yahoo wasn't just competing with other websites. It was competing for control of the future of the internet itself. And that created a new problem. What exactly was Yahoo supposed to become? Yahoo had started as a directory. Then it became a portal. Then a search engine. Then an email provider, a news platform, a financial service, a media company, an advertising business, and more. The bigger Yahoo became, the more things it wanted to be. And at first, that looked like strength. Why choose one thing when you could own all of them? But the internet was changing, and soon Yahoo would have to make a choice. What did it actually want to be? In the late 1990s, Yahoo had a problem. The internet was growing too fast. There were more websites, more pages, more information, and Yahoo's original idea, organizing the web by hand, was becoming harder to scale. The internet was becoming too big to simply organize. It had to be searched. Yahoo already had search, but search was not yet the center of its business. Yahoo was still thinking like a portal, a place where people could come for news, email, finance, sports, shopping, and search was just another piece of the experience. Then, in 1998, two Stanford students launched a search engine of their own. Their names were Larry Page and Sergey Brin. They called it Google. At first, Yahoo didn't see Google as a threat. In fact, Yahoo eventually decided to use Google. In June 2000, Yahoo announced that Google would become its default provider of web search results. And on the surface, the decision made perfect sense. Yahoo had the audience. Google had the technology. Yahoo could focus on being the destination, while Google quietly powered the search box behind it. But there was a problem. Every time a Yahoo user searched the web, they were seeing Google's results. And the better Google became, the more valuable Google became. Google was built around a different idea. Yahoo wanted to be the place you went to on the internet. Google wanted to help you find wherever you wanted to go. Its interface was almost absurdly simple. No news, no sports scores, no stock ticker, no giant collection of links, just a search box. And it worked. Google's technology could rank pages based on the links connecting them across the web. The more useful the web became, the more data Google could use to improve its results, and the better the results became, the more people searched. It was a powerful feedback loop. Yahoo had spent years building a destination. Google was quietly becoming something different, a gateway, and that distinction mattered. Because if Yahoo controlled the destination, Google was beginning to control the journey. By the early 2000s, Yahoo could no longer ignore what Google was becoming. The company that Yahoo had once used to improve its own search was becoming one of the most important companies on the internet. Yahoo eventually explored buying Google, but the deal never happened, and the numbers attached to those negotiations became legendary. Google wanted more than Yahoo was willing to pay. Yahoo walked away, and Google kept growing. Yahoo had once been the place people went to find the internet. Now, another company was becoming the place people went to search it. And that difference was about to become enormous. Because Google wasn't trying to become another Yahoo. It was building something Yahoo hadn't realized it needed to become. Yahoo could have ignored it. Instead, it fought back. Yahoo knew search was becoming too important to leave in someone else's hands. So it started building its own search technology. In 2002, Yahoo acquired Inktomi for roughly $235 million. Inktomi wasn't just another website. It was search infrastructure. Yahoo was beginning to build something it had previously outsourced. Then, in 2003, Yahoo made an even bigger move. It acquired Overture for about $1.60 billion. Overture had built one of the most important pieces of the early online advertising business: paid search. Now Yahoo had something Google had too: search, advertising, and millions of users. Yahoo wasn't asleep. It was investing billions. It was buying technology. It was building its own search engine, and it had something Google still couldn't match: an enormous audience. Yahoo had users, lots of them. It had email, news, finance, sports, entertainment, shopping, search, advertising. The company had spent years building an entire ecosystem around the user, and that ecosystem had made Yahoo incredibly valuable. But it also created a problem. Yahoo was trying to be everything. Google didn't have to be everything. It only had to be the best place to search, and then it could build everything else around that. This was the fundamental difference between the two companies. Yahoo thought of the internet as a collection of destinations. Google increasingly thought of it as a system of information. Yahoo wanted users to stay on Yahoo. Google wanted to help users leave Yahoo and find exactly what they were looking for. It sounds like a small difference. It wasn't. In 2003, Yahoo acquired Overture because search advertising was becoming increasingly important. In 2004, Yahoo launched its own branded algorithmic search technology, built on the technology it acquired from Inktomi. Yahoo was finally taking control of search, but Google had already moved ahead, and the gap wasn't only about search results anymore. It was about advertising. Every search created an opportunity. Someone searched for a laptop. Someone else searched for a hotel. Someone searched for insurance. And companies were willing to pay to appear in front of those people. The better the search engine understood the user's intent, the more valuable those advertisements became. Search wasn't just a feature anymore. It was becoming a business model. Yahoo understood this. It had its own search technology. It had one of the largest audiences on the internet. On paper, Yahoo had everything it needed to compete. So why wasn't it winning? Because Yahoo was still fighting yesterday's battle. It was trying to become better at being Yahoo. More services, more content, more features, more users, more places to keep people inside its ecosystem. But the internet was moving in another direction. The most valuable company wouldn't necessarily be the one with the most things. It would be the one that understood what people wanted, faster than everyone else. Yahoo still had millions of users. It still had one of the biggest brands on the internet. It still had enormous amounts of money. And it still had time. But another company was beginning to understand something Yahoo was struggling to see. The future of the internet wouldn't be built around a portal. It would be built around people. Yahoo had survived the first transformation of the internet. From directories to search, from simple websites to massive online businesses. But now, the internet was changing again. And this time, the center of the internet wasn't going to be a search box. It was going to be people. In the early 2000s, social networking was becoming the next big thing. One of the companies leading the way was MySpace. It was noisy. It was noisy. It was often difficult to navigate, but millions of people were using it. They weren't just searching for information anymore. They were creating it. They were building profiles, sharing music, posting photos, connecting with friends. The internet was becoming social. Yahoo understood that something was happening, but understanding a trend and knowing what to do with it are two very different things. In 2004, a small social network launched from a Harvard dorm room, Facebook. At first, it was nothing like Yahoo. Yahoo had millions of users. Facebook had a few thousand. Yahoo was a massive corporation. Facebook was a young startup. Yahoo had advertising, email, news, finance, search. Facebook had people. But Yahoo saw potential. Yahoo had made a serious offer for Facebook. Zuckerberg said no. The problem wasn't that Yahoo failed to buy Facebook. Companies miss acquisitions all the time. The problem was something deeper. Yahoo kept looking at the future as something it could buy. Google had built its own future. Facebook was building its own. And Yahoo was still trying to decide what it wanted to be. Search was changing. Social media was changing. Online advertising was changing. And then another revolution was approaching. Mobile. The internet was about to leave the desktop, and when it did, the rules would change again. In January 2007, Steve Jobs walked onto a stage in San Francisco, and he introduced a device that would change the way people experience the internet. It wasn't just a phone. It was a computer, a camera, a music player, and a new gateway to the web. Yahoo had spent more than a decade building the front door to the internet. Now, the front door was moving into people's pockets. In 2007, the internet was about to change again. This time, the change wasn't happening on a website. It was happening in your hand. Apple's iPhone arrived. And suddenly, the web was no longer something you sat down to use. It was something you carried with you. Everywhere. All the time. Search, email, maps, social media, photos, news. The internet was becoming mobile, and once again, Yahoo had to adapt. Yahoo wasn't starting from zero. It already had millions of users. It had email, search, news, finance, one of the biggest audiences on the internet. But mobile wasn't simply another place to put Yahoo. It changed what the internet itself could be. On a desktop, Yahoo could fill your screen with information. On a phone, there was barely enough room for anything. The experience had to be faster, simpler, more personal, and increasingly built around apps. And Yahoo had another problem. Its leadership kept changing. Strategy changed. Priorities changed. Products changed. And sometimes, the person running the company changed before the previous strategy had even had time to work. In 2007, Yahoo co-founder Jerry Yang became CEO. He helped build the company from the beginning. Now he had to figure out how to save it. But Yahoo was entering one of the most difficult periods in its history. Then, in January 2008, Yahoo received an offer that could have changed everything. Microsoft wanted to buy the company. The offer was worth approximately $44.6 billion. Microsoft believed Yahoo could help it compete with Google. Yahoo had the audience. Microsoft had the technology. Together, they could potentially challenge Google's growing dominance. Yahoo rejected the offer. Microsoft came back with a higher proposal. Yahoo still refused. The negotiations became increasingly hostile. And eventually, Microsoft walked away. At the time, Yahoo believed it was worth more. Its board believed Microsoft was undervaluing the company. And perhaps they were right. But there was a problem. Yahoo had to prove it. Instead, the company struggled to find a clear path forward. Jerry Yang had inherited a company caught between two worlds. Yahoo was still one of the biggest names on the internet, but its competitors were moving faster. Google was dominating search and online advertising. Facebook was redefining social media. Apple was changing mobile computing. And Microsoft was still waiting for an answer. Yahoo was surrounded by companies building the next version of the internet. And Yahoo was still trying to figure out which version it belonged to. By late 2008, the situation had become difficult to ignore. Yahoo's stock had fallen dramatically from its earlier highs. The Microsoft deal was gone. Jerry Yang was no longer CEO, and the company needed a new direction. It found one in a surprising place: Carol Bartz. Carol Bartz took over Yahoo at a critical moment. The company was still one of the biggest names on the internet, but it was struggling to find a clear direction. Bartz came from outside the world of internet startups. She had spent years running Autodesk, where she had built a reputation as a tough and decisive executive. Now she was being asked to do something very different, turn Yahoo around. Her approach was straightforward. Cut costs, simplify the company, focus on the businesses that still mattered, and try to make Yahoo more competitive again. But Yahoo's biggest problems were not going away. Google was still dominating search and online advertising. Facebook was rapidly changing social media, and the internet was moving toward mobile. Bartz had inherited a company with enormous reach, but enormous reach was no longer enough. Yahoo needed a strategy for the future, and once again that future would force the company to make a difficult choice. Microsoft was becoming impossible for Yahoo to ignore. Google was dominating search, and Yahoo needed a way to reduce the gap. In 2009, Yahoo and Microsoft reached a deal that would reshape both companies. Microsoft would provide the technology behind Yahoo's search, while Yahoo would handle the relationship with advertisers. On paper, it made sense. Yahoo could stop trying to build every piece of search technology itself, while Microsoft could gain access to Yahoo's enormous audience. But there was a problem. Yahoo was giving up control of one of the most important parts of its business. Search had once been at the heart of Yahoo's identity. Now, Yahoo was depending on another company to power it, and Google was still getting stronger. The deal gave Yahoo a chance to focus on what it did best, but it also revealed something deeper. Yahoo was no longer deciding where the internet was going. It was trying to find a place inside a future that other companies were building. But Yahoo still couldn't find that place. In 2011, the pressure finally caught up with Carol Bartz. In September, Yahoo's board removed her as CEO. Tim Morse took over on an interim basis. A few months later, Yahoo appointed Scott Thompson, a former PayPal executive, as its new CEO. But Thompson's time at Yahoo would be even shorter. In May 2012, questions emerged about inaccuracies in his academic credentials. Thompson left the company, and Ross Levinson became interim CEO. Yahoo had now gone through multiple CEOs in just a few years. The company wasn't simply struggling with its business anymore. It was struggling to decide who should lead it. And then, in July 2012, Yahoo made its most surprising choice yet. In July 2012, Marissa Mayer became Yahoo's CEO. And on paper, she looked almost perfect for the job. She knew technology, she knew search, and she knew Google. Mayer had spent more than a decade at the company that had become Yahoo's biggest competitor. Now, she was being asked to save Yahoo. Mayer moved quickly. She wanted Yahoo to feel exciting again. Products were redesigned. The company invested heavily in mobile. Yahoo acquired dozens of startups. And in 2013, it made one of its biggest bets yet, Tumblr. Yahoo paid approximately $1.1 billion for the blogging platform. At the time, Tumblr had a huge and highly engaged young audience. For Yahoo, it looked like a chance to become relevant to a new generation, a younger audience, a stronger mobile presence, and a platform built around user-generated content. But there was a problem. Yahoo still wasn't creating the thing people loved. Tumblr wasn't the only acquisition. Under Mayer, Yahoo bought dozens of companies. Some were tiny startups. Others were bets on mobile. Advertising, video, social media. Yahoo was trying to rebuild itself, piece by piece. But buying technology wasn't the same as building a new identity. And Yahoo still had the same fundamental problem. What exactly was Yahoo? For a moment, it looked like Mayer might actually pull it off. Yahoo's stock price surged. Investors became more optimistic. The company was cutting costs in some areas while investing heavily in others, and Mayer became one of the most recognizable executives in Silicon Valley. But beneath the headlines, the underlying problem hadn't disappeared. Yahoo still struggled to compete in the businesses that mattered most. Search was dominated by Google. Social media was dominated by Facebook. Mobile was being shaped by Apple and Google. And digital advertising was increasingly controlled by a small number of massive platforms. Yahoo had once been the place where people started the internet. Now, people started their day somewhere else. They opened Google. They checked Facebook. They opened YouTube. They reached for their phones. They lived inside apps. The internet Yahoo had helped introduce to the world was no longer the internet people were using. In 2016, Yahoo revealed something that shocked the market. The company disclosed that a massive data breach had affected hundreds of millions of accounts. And then another breach came to light. Yahoo revealed that more than 1 billion accounts had been affected by a separate attack dating back to 2013. And the story would get even worse. In 2017, Yahoo announced that the 2013 breach had actually affected all 3 billion of its user accounts. Yahoo wasn't just struggling to grow. It was struggling to maintain trust. And by now, the company was running out of time. In 2016, Yahoo agreed to sell its core internet business to Verizon. The price was approximately $4.8 billion. Think about that for a moment. At its peak, Yahoo had been valued at well over $100 billion. Now, one of the companies that had helped create the modern internet was being sold for a fraction of what it had once been worth. Yahoo wasn't disappearing completely. Its brand would survive. Some of its businesses would survive. Its technology would survive. But the company that had once stood at the center of the internet was gone. So what actually happened to Yahoo? Was it Google, Facebook, Microsoft? The failed acquisitions? The CEOs? The missed opportunities? Maybe. But none of those explain the whole story. Because Yahoo didn't lose the internet in one dramatic moment. It slowly lost sight of what made it great in the first place. Yahoo's original idea was simple. The internet was confusing, so Yahoo made it easier to navigate. But as the internet evolved, Yahoo kept trying to become everything. A portal, a search engine, a media company, a social platform, a mobile company, an advertising giant. It kept adding pieces, while losing sight of the original idea. And eventually, the internet no longer needed Yahoo to show it where to go. It had learned how to find its own way. Yahoo didn't lose the internet overnight. It simply stopped being the place the internet needed. Thanks for watching. See you in the next story.